Johanna, so I got a couple things fixed for you today. First of all would be the quality of the video, because I finally figured out my camera situation. And then the next thing would be my background is a whole lot less ugly, I guess, so I fixed those things. But today I'm going to be doing a story time for you. So my barn that I work at has this horse named Megan, and she's pretty much green broke. She's not young, but she was always used as a trail horse, and that was it. So like nobody really taught her etiquette. So she's pretty rough. Her steering is really hard, and she's very bullheaded, and she wants to do what she wants. So, at this point in time, I had not even started taking lessons yet, and I wasn't very good. Like, I only knew pretty much the basics, and my canter was kind of rocky, but she has a really smooth canter anyway, so it wasn't too bad on that respect. But I was taking her out on a trail ride, and behind my barn, there's a creek, and that's where I was taking her. And so I was already taking her out at dinner time, which is a terrible idea, especially for her because she is so bullheaded. So I was going down the path to get to the creek, and she was already like trying to turn around and stuff like that, so I had to fight with her all the way down. And then we finally got to the beach, which is what we call like the little slope that actually goes down into the water. So I got her down the beach into the creek, and she really just did not want to be in the water. And normally, like, she loves the water. Several of the horses and their riders will like take them down into the creek and just walk around and stuff like that. And she was one of them. Like she liked the water. So this day she just did not want to go down. Like, I don't know what it was. It was probably the fact that it was dinner time, but you know. And I wasn't very strong yet either, so she pointed herself at the bank of the creek instead of going back up the beach, the ramp right out of the water. She pointed herself at the bank. And the bank is like 3 feet, and she was jumping or going out of water. So she pointed herself at that bank, and I knew that she was going to jump. I had never jumped before. My ec was terrible. Like, I'd never done any of that before, but I knew she was going to jump. So I leaned forward because that was all I could do. Like, I wasn't strong enough to pull her away, and I knew she was going to do it, and I didn't really have any time to do anything. And so in the water, from a standstill, she jumped up this 3-foot bank. And I stayed on, and at first I was laughing about the situation because I thought it was funny. But then she bolted. Full on gallop back to the barn. And that was when I became terrified because I didn't have a lot of experience. Not only that, but I lost my stirrup when she took the jump. And I lost control of the reins. So I'm on this green broke horse galloping back to the barn as someone who can barely canter well and has never had any lessons. Full-blown gallop back to the barn with one stirrup and no reins. I was scared. I was holding onto the pommel of my saddle and basically just hoping I didn't die, holding on for dear life, because if I would have fallen off, I would have hit the ground really hard, A, as you always do, but B, I could have tumbled back down the bank and into the creek, which is full of rocks, and that would not have been good, obviously, because, who wants to fall into a creek? But I held on, I persisted, and I was thinking to myself, I have to get her to slow down. So the only way that I could, because she was going too fast and I couldn't pick up the reins because I was afraid of falling off, the only way I thought to do it I just shouted, "Megan, whoa!" And surprisingly, she did. Like, okay, well, she didn't stop, but she started to slow down, and so I kept shouting at her to, like, slow and stop running. And eventually I got the reins back, and so I just pulled and, sat back and pulled. And so I got her to stop, but then, of course, little me just galloped. I was shaken up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just totally rode this and did not fall off. And that was a catastrophe. Like, I ended up having to take her back to the barn because I did get her a little bit way of the way back towards the beach and the creek. But she was just so dead set on it, and at that point she had my number. Because she ran away with me and I couldn't do anything, and so it was really hard to get her back towards the creek. I eventually did get her like a little bit of the way back, but not really enough to make up for it. So I ended up having to get off part of the way back to the barn and just like lead her back. And as crazy as that sounds, it didn't shake my confidence at all. Like, at this point, like I said, I wasn't taking lessons, so she was pretty much the only thing I had to ride. But I didn't take her back out, like back outside. I only rode her in the arena pretty much after that. Because she's okay in the arena, like, good isn't the right word. She always drops her trot around a corner, like, for everyone. I have this friend that's much more experienced than I am, and she even can't get Megan to trot around a corner, which is ridiculous, but Megan is just green broke, and she basically knows very, very little. So, that happened, like, when it was warm, of course, because why would I want to go in the creek when it's cold? But I still, to this day, ride her. I've just been waiting for it to warm up so I can go back out, and next time I won't take her out when it's feeding time because that's a disaster to begin with. So anyway, that was my story of little me, not having taken lessons, not even knowing how to jump, jumping up a 3-foot bank from a standstill out of water, and then galloping back to the barn with one stirrup and no reins. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm so glad that I got this quality back up, because looking back on my first 2 videos, even though I uploaded them the other day, their quality is really terrible. So I figured out how to make it better, and I did, and so hopefully you guys like this much more, and my new white background. So I am on spring break. I'll probably upload more this week. I'm like almost halfway through my spring break, unfortunately. So I will be probably uploading more. But thank you so much for supporting me and watching my videos and commenting and all that sort of thing. And I will see you later.